What screams I have a crush on you? Viewer edition. Story 1. So it was last day of term 1 in my lesson. I was talking to my crush a lot, and I helped her with a design because my teacher said I had easy and good example. After helping her, me and her went to the sewing machine with her and my friend. My crush acted a bit weird, and my friend said, "If you touch Harvey, you like him. I'm Harvey." She touched me. I was red. My friend burst out laughing. After calming down, my friend and I teased each other. My crush decided to join, and she flicked me in my shoulder, worst area. I burst in pain, while she laughed. We three all teased, and then she just went to my friend and gave him a little hug. I burst laughing, but inside I felt jealous. So nothing much happened, and term 2, other than a lot of rumors of me liking someone, I used my voice like Eminem for that whole term. So it was term 3 and it was Friday, aka 3 days ago. I found my way to my new class and I saw my crush. We talked for a while, like 2 minutes. Then the teacher came and told everyone what's going to happen. I was sad because I thought I wouldn't be at the table with my crush. Then God just made a miracle and the teacher told me to sit with 4 people. They were one of my friends, a person really anyone talks to, and my crush. I've prayed to God since. So when we started and the teacher gave everyone the tour around the classroom, me and my crush were like next to each other every time my teacher stopped and told us what each thing does. After that, we all sat down to start learning. Me, my friend, and my crush were working together, and we all talked for a while. My teacher gave everyone a piece of paper, and she put on a board some pictures of stuff we would use in a couple of weeks. I was drawing the stuff, then my friend and my crush were talking random gibberish, so I intervened and we all talked. I laughed, technically, at almost everything she said. My crush started talking like a cat, so I joined in, and we just kept on saying, meow. When the lesson ended and it was home time, I tried to get out, then my crush started chasing me because we were playing. I bolted through the school. So on Monday, it was fine for the past 3 lessons, until music. Of course, since I like my crush, I sat near her, but not like next to her, to make it not obvious, and God made yet another miracle, so I was working with her and 3 other people. I was the drum leader, so I was kind of like the leader. It was fine for like 5 minutes, then everyone messed around. My crush touched my drums, so obviously I didn't get it back. "Did you touch my drum set?" My friend and my crush were talking, so I got jealous and started insulting my friend. Not sure how no one found the obvious that I liked my crush, so then I started getting laughs from her. Good. So after we all went back to the classroom, my friend said she wanted to hit me, so I was scared. Then my crush said something, then I said something, and then she said, "I'll get my boyfriend on you." Okay, so I think it's a joke, she doesn't have a boyfriend, but my mother frickin' self was mad inside, but not outside. Also, this other girl I don't know kept saying hello to me. I don't know who she was, so my friend said she's stalking you. I said, yeah. But after class, I kept looking everywhere just to make sure. Story 2. Apparently, my girlfriend was in love with me since elementary school and had been dropping hints for more than 10 years. Hints that I apparently didn't catch because I was too thick-headed. So in our 3rd year of high school, she snapped and yelled, "Name, I've been in love with you for over a decade. What do I need to do for you to finally notice it?" We've been married for 7 years, and it's still a mystery how I never noticed her hints. So I guess that my answer to the question would be literally yelling it. Having said that, I guess in my case, what made me understand I truly love her was when we went out for our first date after we officially started dating. We went to the river for a walk. While walking, unfortunately, the strap of my watch broke, and the watch fell straight into the water and was partially washed away. It basically ended up a few meters away from the coast, so it was still visible under the water, but it was unreachable without stepping into the water. Now, that watch wasn't worth much, but it had a special meaning for me since it was a gift from my grandma, and I had worn it for the last 10 years. Before somebody asked, my grandma is still alive and kicking, but she generally gives me money instead of buying me a gift because she never knows what to buy me. So whenever she actually buys me something, I cherish it because it means she spent a lot of time thinking about it. I was about to step into the water to retrieve it, but she anticipated me. She didn't even bother to take off her shoes. She simply jumped into the water, took the watch, and gave it back. I was so shocked by what she did that I actually mumbled, "I love you," without even noticing it. That day, I swore I would do anything for her, even if I had to go to hell and back to make her happy. P.S. The watch was unfortunately broken due to the fall and the water that entered the mechanism. In order to have it repaired, I would have had to basically substitute every single part of it. So I explained what happened to my grandma, and her answer was, "My watch helped you find the love of your life. Its job is done." I still have the broken watch. I keep it on a shelf in my bedroom as a memento. Story 3. I mean, I kind of have a short story, I guess. So I've been meeting with this girl, my classmate, from, I believe, either early or late January. I know her just because of my friend, another classmate, who asked her help for English. He wasn't good at English, and that they were meeting at school to study. This all happened after an English seminar, to be exact. I joined on both occasions, and I joined them both because I was bored at home. So after all the studying and all that, we got each other's phone number and just do Google Meets to study or stay back at school after extra classes. This sounds a bit like trespassing, but just recently my friend, the one that asked for help, said to me that she liked me and showed me chat messages as well. But then she lost interest because I vaped. Well, that was a bit of a dumb move by me. However, I told her that I got rid of the vape. This is really because I wasn't addicted to them. Don't know why they're addicting in the first place, but a lot of people vape. I actually found this vape and didn't buy it, so that it kind of shows I have high luck for some reason. Anyways, maybe me getting rid of the vape might change her mind, because I might confess to her on Monday. I'm from Asia, so it's going to be a different time zone for you guys. I'll edit this comment when I get the results. And the results were mixed. I don't know whether she accepted it or not, so I guess 50-50 chances? So good news. I'm writing this on a Wednesday, and we're official. Well, not in a technicality. We're both in a situationship. Basically, you're dating, but not very emotionally or close. But you're still dating, and she had a reason because she kind of has a problem at home and is sometimes busy. But I'm technically in a relationship, so it was a win in my book, and for the sake of her as well. Well, shoot. Literally tonight, and she wants to break up with me. And honestly, I don't mind. We're both not really fit for each other. However, I did say we'll be friends, and she said it's really good. So moral of the story, just push your luck. 50-50 chance it'll work. But hey, at least you tried. Story 4. Whenever I watch these videos, I hope to hear something that applies to the girl I have a crush on. Most don't, unsurprisingly, but instead just get reconfirmed that I do indeed have a crush on her. I told most of my homies last year at a sleepover. We were exchanging crushes. My best friend, who I was friends with since first grade, most of them I only knew since 5th grade, was quite surprised I didn't opt out. Our class is very close. Last year we were only 16 students, 13 guys, 3 girls, and we're all good friends, but never really talked to the girls much before 8th grade, but now they're also part of the family. One of these girls is my crush, and unlike what most guys seem to do, I actually talk to her, and I'm almost certain she knows that I have a crush on her, and she's nice to me, but I don't know if she just likes me as a friend. Some of the interactions we've had do make me think that she might have a crush on me as well. It's just kind of hard to find out when you're basically never able to talk one-on-one because our class always sticks together anywhere we go. You hear about couples in a class quite often. My parents have even asked me if there are any in our class, but it's pretty difficult to get the courage when your social life is on the line because your entire class is your friend group. From like 5th to 7th grade, we shipped one of the guys in our class with her, and anytime we played werewolf, it was basically an unwritten rule that whoever was Cupid had to match them. I don't think they ever had a relationship. Obviously, we've matured since then, but honestly, not that much. What's quite funny is that the girlfriend of one of the only guys in our class in a relationship is her cousin. We all always wonder how he has a girlfriend, considering he's one of the weirdest, even by our standards. He says the N-word very frequently, not to any black people, just randomly, and acts quite gay. Even still, I hope he and his girlfriend have a happy life together. Anyways, there's my ramblings. Story 5. Not me, but my editor. She had this massive crush on this girl, and the problem was that this girl was homophobic, or at least we thought. So, since my editor was embarrassed about being a homophobe, she didn't tell anyone. Now, I can read her like a book. I noticed she was starting to make inappropriate gay jokes in hopes of gaining respect. Note, my editor at the time had only come out to a few people, so no one really knew. She then started being the bad girl that wasn't like her. So we then had this party to celebrate something, I forget what, and I invited the girl and my editor, along with my close friends and the popular kids. My editor had come early, as usual, and we just chatted while I made sure everything was ready. I locked most doors to prevent peeking. I suddenly asked, "Be honest, do you like that homophobe girl in Enter Teacher Name Here's class?" And she said, "How did you know?" So I told her. Funny to mention, later that year, she, the girl my editor liked, came out as lesbian and said her homophobic jokes were because she was embarrassed. My editor asked her out at the end of the year, and she said yes. They're still together today. Side note, I got my editor to type this so that only things she's okay with sharing are here. and I asked the other girl if I could comment on this story, so no worries about privacy. Too long didn't read. Female editor likes homophobe popular girl. I invite everyone to a party. A homophobe comes out as lesbian and says her being homophobe is because she was embarrassed. The editor asked her out. She said yes, still together today. Story 6. I'm a guy, but I'm more close to the girls in the class than the boys. I'm not gay. Being close to girls for years, you tend to learn about them, how they flirt, and what they like. There's no universal answer to tell if she likes you or not, but keep a lookout for these signs, boys. Girls mostly make the first move. But it's so subtle, that's why we miss out their signs most of the time. Number 1, they talk differently. Usually they're more energetic around you, or they talk differently compared to friends, like they open up more to tell you some secrets that she wouldn't tell her friends, stuff like that. Number 2, eye contact is mentioned in the video, so it's pretty obvious. I mean, even if you do extreme head bops, she won't take her eyes off of you. Number 3, most of the time girls are too shy for eye contact, unless you two know each other for years, but she tends to sit close to you. I mean super close, like to the point her elbow is touching your elbow. You'll notice how some girls sit next to you, but not that close compared to that girl who sits next to you, but the elbows are touching each other. Number 4, the smile. This is the hardest and easiest to spot at the same time. It's so hard to spot, you have to be the most attentive man to notice it. There's 2 types of smile. The casual smile and the I like you smile. There's no universal smile for every girl, but when they do that smile, they either look funny or ugly. Take that as a sign. Story 7. This makes me feel so freaking lonely. I just started college and I can't relate to even one person. I was starting to relate to this one girl, but I found out she's lesbian. But basically, I'm a freaking introvert. I've only had one relationship in person 3 years ago, and I've had countless relationships online. I have a lot of trauma from my childhood and some accident I was involved in a few years ago, and I've never felt genuinely loved or cared for at home, which makes commuting to college and living with my family still all the more worse. Because of all this, I'm just naturally clingy and panic if I'm left to read for too long or anything like that. The only person I've ever felt a connection with online, my in-real-life relationship was horrible, was with someone who was just as emotionally scarred as I was, but they left me for some guy at their school. It feels nice to be replaced so easily after a year of being promised that we would someday meet in person, and it felt like they were the only person I've ever been able to have deep and meaningful conversations with. I don't know what to do with myself anymore. I know I shouldn't keep looking for relationships, but I have no love or care elsewhere in my life. Story 8. In high school, I didn't have a driver's license, so I'd sometimes hitch a ride with a female friend after student council meetings. One time after a student council meeting, she casually drove me to a notorious lover's lane in town just to show it to me. Now I look back and wonder if she took me there in hopes that I'd catch on and initiate something. In classes, she always also laughed at the dumbest jokes I cracked and even involuntarily repeated them under her breath. As far as I remember, she didn't do that in response to anyone else. Also, she was strangely physical with me, as she'd always playfully push me or randomly lay her hand on my arm or shoulder and just linger there. Nah, I don't think she liked me. Story 9. In my personal experience of having crushes, these are usually a few signs. Looking down or away when talking, glancing over at you when they think you're not looking, adjusting hair, clothing, glasses, etc., blushing and looking embarrassed, replying to your texts quickly and being the one to initiate the text, looking generally nervous around you. Story 10. No, this story is true. I'm not like the usual girls. That's all about makeup and purses. I was bullied by girls when I was younger, so I actually hung out with the guys. So in high school, I was in a big group of my guy friends when I noticed my now boyfriend sitting by himself. I walked up to him because we needed another person in our group, so me being the leader of my group, I walked over to him and talked to him. I liked him a lot, so it was tough for me to talk to him without blushing. He even said he knew I liked him because I would turn red and act shy. Just because it's unrealistic for a girl to walk up to a guy doesn't mean it's not true. Times are totally different now than they were before. Like I said in my post, we were all still together and have been for 6 years, 7 years in May. Someone would have to live a low life to lie about their lover and love life entirely. Story 11. For me, when I was crushing on my now boyfriend, I told him to join our group in class since he always sat by himself, and I really liked him too. I'd always stare at him, and when he looked up, I looked away all quickly. We'd always talk, and we even got each other's gamer tags and played GTA 5 together and Minecraft. My humanities and history teacher knew we liked each other, so they sat us next to each other and made it our permanent seats for those 2 classes. We'd walk together a lot, and he would walk me to my class. It felt for real when he hugged me every time we left. He said that he knew that he liked me a lot from the very beginning, but even more when one day he didn't hug me and I got really upset because I felt like I was getting mixed signals, so I left all upset. His friend even noticed he didn't hug me. This was 6 years ago and we're still together. High school couple. Story 12. I don't know if this counts, but a girl in my maths class was hanging out with her friends while I was in the bathroom. I walked up to the door and knocked. She looked me dead in the eye and screamed my name, like, "Oh my God, my bestie is here," that sort of thing. It startled me, yet sparked a love interest that never has happened since. Well, most women just find me as a big brother or a good friend to talk to. By the way, I'm a man and was raised around women. Never having a man living with me sort of helps understand women more, I guess. I mostly have woman friends and never really thought of them as a lover, nor anything as such. But it's nice knowing at least someone cares enough to scream my name, even if it gets them sent to the principal. I've also sort of caught her glancing at me, totally not because I was doing the same thing, but yeah, that was my TED Talk. Thanks for listening. Story 13. Bro, the kicking leg thing actually happened to me. I was talking to my friends, and this guy I knew in middle school kicked the back of my leg for no reason. I got ticked off. This was a guy I used to have a crush on. Like a year before this happened, I messaged him on Instagram to try to get to know him a little bit, but the next day he told everyone in the class that I messaged him. Yeah, not cool. I didn't like him after that. This wasn't the first time this happened. In my first year of school, when I was like 13, I sent this note to a boy I liked. But again, the next day, literally everyone knew in all my classes, and I felt sick to my stomach that day, and I regretted it so much. I was the quiet kid in class, so everyone acted super surprised when I did stuff like that. I'm not socially anxious, though. Story 14. I don't know why, the feeling of someone having a crush on me is weird. Like, don't get me wrong, for guys, it's great, I think. But for me, it felt weird. One time, a classmate of mine had a crush on me for who knows what reason, and when I found out about it, I distanced myself from her, blocking her from social media, and never brought the topic up again. I don't know, my moves were quite impulsive at that time since, number 1, I had a crush on another girl, number 2, we were close friends, number 3, it was my first time someone had a crush on me. After all of these, I just then realized that I'm quite stupid and immature since I didn't handle it properly and probably broke her heart. Too long didn't read, don't jump on impulse, think calmly, and be level-headed. Story 15. When I was 16 in high school, my childhood friend in the cafeteria told me to date her BFF. What I didn't know is this girl has been thinking about me her whole life, and she's very excited to meet me one day. She also had a crush on me. I was like, yeah, I can take her out on a date. We met at a Christmas party after texting over the phone for months, and that's when we fell in love. We've been dating for about 4 months, and things didn't work out because we were too far apart. I mean, I'm trying so hard to keep up on our relationship because it's life. I have to deal with something very important. It's not fair that I have to wait so long before I can fall back in love again. Story 16. Oh, poopy! I did the comparing hand sizes thing with my 8th grade friend once, thought nothing of it, just took the information. He was always uncomfortably close to me. Sometimes I would back off because it took me by surprise. Came over to my house, he was cold. I gave him a blanket and he insisted on sharing it with me. I agreed, but it was too warm. I never felt anything romantic towards him and was completely clueless. 13-year-old me thought comparing hand sizes was purely for scientific research. I still did, until today. Edit. While all this was happening, I had a raging crush on my English teacher's daughter, and was very clumsy about it. I'm pretty sure she knew. Oh, I've got a raging clue over here. Story 17. One of my mates tells me a classmate in my sister's year in high school liked me, but chickened out whenever she wanted to talk to me because she was worried I didn't like her back. I had a feeling she liked me, but I wish I had confirmed it in high school, because I kinda liked her as well. Any interaction I had with her was pretty much a high five or a fist bump in passing. I had no idea why at the start. Followed by her and her friends going off squeeing. I'm pretty disappointed I never got a chance to speak to her properly. Story 18. No girl has ever crushed on me. Not that I know of. Finished high school 2.5 years ago, and I've still never had a girlfriend. I've been chatting with a girl for almost 2 years. My older sister posted a pic of me and my then new car, and she commented on it. I replied to that comment, and then we started texting each other. She borrowed money from me since she has it tough economically, but when I lost my job, I got all the money back with interest. We've never met because she lives on the other side of the country. Story 19. That introvert shy person that turns into an extrovert is weirdly wholesome. I once noticed a girl coming out of her shell, even though she was super weird, but still somewhat cute. 4 years later, I learned she had a huge crush on me since all that time. She gets mad at me sometimes. Not actually, more like a play mixed with realism. Today, we get along really well. I think she still crushes on me. The random hugs she gives me at night, followed by loving kisses, are kind of a giveaway. She's not only my girlfriend, but also my best friend too. Story 20. Yeah, the laughing, even though it's not funny, is real. I met this girl when I went on vacation, and the girl next to her literally said why she got a crush on me, probably because she assumed that I don't know the language. Mind you, I can understand, but I can't speak the language. We often met because of gatherings and such, and we would always end up in the same place. Maybe because teens are in different places during gatherings with their own corner. Made me think about myself and help with my low self-esteem. Story 21. A female coworker of mine called one of her guy friends, said she was hungry, and asked him to go get her something to eat for her lunch break. Homie showed up in his best drip with a to-go box full of food, a half-gallon bottle of pineapple juice, a heart-shaped box of assorted lip gloss, and a hand-drawn portrait of her in a decorated plastic envelope. It took me like 3 hours to finish the shading on your upper lip. It's probably the best drawing I've ever done. Immediately, I assumed that was her boyfriend. Come to find out, she only saw him as just a friend. My jaw dropped to the ground when she said that. Story 22. At this point, I don't even know how to crush. I mean, I used to, but after some years, especially because of the pandemic, I already lost it, and I don't even care when talking to girls or other people. Maybe because I'm a loner and not social? Nah, I'm the talkative guy in my group, so I'm not sure about that. Yeah, no one asked, but after some point, I guess we do lose our interest in crush stuff when we get older, especially being a teenager. Story 23. That last one reminded me of the only time I've ever liked someone, who then ghosted me, gaslit me about it, claimed it was to save our friendship, and started a relationship with a mutual friend. Well, acquaintance. I was constantly invited to groups where I felt I was intruding, all at the request of that special someone. The friends I thought I had barely reached out. Story 24. A girl I crushed on shared her umbrella with me when I forgot to bring mine, even when I refused and tried to walk in the rain. For context, we live at the same apartment complex on the same block. That was 6 years ago, and I've never forgotten it. Looking back, and when talking to friends about it, they all said I missed my shot. But, well, I'm an awkward mess, and still am. Please leave your stories in the comments. I'd love to make a video of them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.